All right. These were the first sounds that were heard on the concert that we played at the Philharmonic Hall in Cologne. Actually, the first time me and my trio with Robert Landvermann and Jonas Burgwinkel were on stage with the great John Scofield. We had met a couple of days before that to rehearse at a great club in Cologne called The Loft. Had amazing Chinese food, hung out, and obviously I asked and we asked John a lot of questions about his music and his life. It's incredible to get to know him. And then this concert came. I think it was at the end of January 2014. And the fulfillment of a lifelong dream that I had. Because I grew up listening to Sco's music. My parents are big fans of his music. This is a song of mine called Cameo. In the days leading up to the concert, John told me that he had looked at the songs, listened to the recordings I sent him, and he really liked that one song with the A pedal. So I was amazed that he was so well prepared. Didn't expect him to be that way, although I knew he was a great musician and is a great musician. But being a star like this, I somehow assumed, he would wing it in the moment. But he was very, very well prepared, knew the songs, and he said he really would like to play this song. So this is what we started out with. We had been playing this song whenever we had certain guests with the trio the years before that. So I think Chris Potter was another guy who played this song. I think this was the recording I sent to Sco for him to check out. It's a pretty straightforward lead sheet type of song that usually lend itself pretty well for situations where there's not much rehearsal time, and you can get a vibe pretty easily, although it's pretty involved harmonically. But Sco sounds very at ease. Felt amazing to play in our hometown. All our friends and families came. Hall was packed, and at Sco it was really incredible how what kind of vibe he gave us, rehearsing, hanging, and playing with him. Obviously in the weeks and months before this, I was super excited and nervous, but all of that was gone when I met him, because he's so relaxed and down to earth, and he was also very, very interested in how we dealt with things, which is a little bit different, obviously, than how he treated things. So he would also ask us questions like, how do you approach this chord, or how do you... He was always interested in when we got a little bit more free. Incredible how he plays over those changes. my trio guys, between the rehearsal, we would talk about, oh wow, Sco is so laid back all the time. And it was kind of hard for us sometimes to maintain the actual tempo, because the vibe that he gets, that special feel, how laid back he plays. It's hard then sometimes to keep the actual tempo. I think we managed. So what do you play after after a giant like that took a solo on your song? I mean, I guess you play something different than what he's playing, and that was a lesson for me, he already did this, maybe I should do something different. Not try to imitate what he did or try to top it, as if I would be able to do that. But, Sco told me a nice story about rehearsing with Herbie for the new standard project. And he told it to me because when we were rehearsing, I always tend to maybe be a little bit too professional, maybe in a way where I was like, yeah, we played that song, that's fine, let's keep the rest for the actual performance. But he was like, no, let's play. I really want to get into these songs more. And so we ended up playing for, I don't know, a really long time. Kept getting back to those songs. And he told me that he was that way when he first played with Herbie. He would take like one chorus on a song at the rehearsal and then give it back to Herbie for him to blow. And Herbie told him, no, please play, man. I really want to get to know how you play. Which was a new kind of approach for me and another lesson to be learned. And, going back to it now, I feel it didn't ruin the spontaneity. I think it enhanced it even a little bit more because we all knew the music a little bit better. Go again, joining in. remember in the rehearsals, I noticed Sco didn't really play during my solos. Didn't really comp. And you know how the way I already said, he gave this. He made sure there was this relaxed vibe, and that actually gave me confidence to actually tell him something. So I took all my courage and said, you know, Sco, if you feel like playing in my solo, please jump in, or I'd love you to comp also, if you comp also in my solos, if you feel like it. And he was like, yeah, you know, Pablo, I always feel more like the horn player in a band. And yeah, makes total sense. Also now, then, after having heard this from him, I listen differently to his recordings now. Also, his lines have a, you know, pretty incredible horn-like element to them, I think. There's really nobody who interprets a melody like Sco. Yes, he's playing what's written on the page, but also he makes it his own immediately. That was always fun. I mean, all of it was fun. But to trade with Sco is an amazing feeling. It sometimes feels like he's ending my phrases and vice versa. Getting towards the end now. So here we have a medley of two of my favorite Scofield compositions. The first one is Kubrick, and then we go into Campout. Kubrick is a rather obscure tune that I think a lot of people miss, or I don't know how to put it, but it's from A Go-Go, famous record from Scofield that is, you know, known for its catchy and very, very funky and groovy tunes. But this is one track in there that is kind of, to me, always stuck out. I love all the songs on the, and I think you know, I want to make it clear that I love all aspects of Scofield, of his music, because he's so diverse in his taste and his output. But this song always stuck out for me. Kubrick on A Go-Go has a different and reflective and mysterious mood. I think now, yeah, Sko goes into the intro of that song. When we rehearsed it, I think also he didn't have a sheet for that one. I did a transcription of it and showed it to him, and he told me that it was correct. And also he appreciated that, or told me to do something with it, not imitate the original recording, which is what you hear maybe in my tremolo thing here. And when we rehearsed, we somehow felt that it could be nice to go from that song, because it's, I think on the record it's a rather short piece. I mean, on the A Go-Go record, we felt it could be nice to connect this with another song. So we thought we might go from Kubrick. We don't play over the form, so we just go somewhere free and then go into Campout, which is another one of my favorites from the What We Do record with Dennis Irwin, Joe Lovano and Bill Stewart. I think now we're getting towards the free part, which is the intro, but now we kind of deconstruct it. I think I rambled all the way through Sko's beautiful intro on this one, but I'd like to say that I could listen to him play intros for forever. I love his intros and outros and solos and everything. Yeah. Robert is introducing the bass line from Campout. Campout is only 8 bars of music, but offers so much possibilities and freedom to go anywhere. Into the woods, as Sko told us. I think he said it reminded him of a kind of a folk tune or something. Melody. And I told him it reminded me of the melody that you're about to hear. German commercial for cakes from Koppenrad and Wiese. I think only Germans will appreciate this comment. Sorry. So nice to hear my friends Robert and Jonas, who are, we're all Sko fans. To hear them play trio with him was always made me so happy. And as I said before, Sko is very widely known for his funky music and groovy stuff. But there's so much music out there of him also, where he really goes into the free and open direction. He told me he was such a fan of Ornette Coleman's quartet, of Keith's quartet. He really studied that music. I remember during the sound check, one of the sound guys, tried to talk Sko down into, try to convince him to lower the volume of his amplifier. And Scofield very politely said, I get asked that a lot, and I appreciate it, but I always decline. It was pretty loud on stage, but I loved it. I love to be in that. I love to dive into that sound. Woo. Talk about diving into it. It was nice then sometimes to treat these moments after his solos more like a trio solo, or like, I don't know where we go now. I haven't listened to this for a long time. I think this is kind of a place for Robert now. There you go. Bass solo. I suppose Sko didn't have something like this in mind when he wrote this song, but I think he appreciated what happened or where it went. This first concert then led to another concert a year later, and also led to the release of this record, because when we initially recorded this concert, it was just as a memory, and then we decided to put it out, and luckily Pirouette Records put it out back then. But it also led to a tour. Scofield asked us if we would want to go on tour with him, playing more of this music. So we played this medley a couple of times, during our tour in, I think, 2015. Also combined Campout with other songs. And it went different places every time. So his music allows for a lot of, especially these pieces, I think they ask even for, or they dare you to go somewhere. So we would, to use that analogy a little bit more, we would camp out in different places. I think there's a moment where it's already gone, but it's sometimes something that I sometimes do to try to imitate somebody who can play the instrument, which isn't hard for me, I guess. No, but to imitate or to play as if you don't know how to play the instrument, and that kind of puts you out of your comfort zone and gives you no inspiration. So it led to other stuff now. And this is another technique that helps me to improvise sometimes, to play with the thematic material of the song. I haven't listened to this for a while, and somehow I hope this comes across as in the right way. It's nice to see how relaxed we sound. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but as I said earlier, Scofield just introduces such a relaxed vibe before the show, after the show, in the rehearsal, that we felt completely at ease with him, even in a packed Philharmonic hall, and playing with your idol, trying to get his music right. No, he really, really encouraged us to reach for something else and to be in the moment. And I kind of, now listening back to it, I can tap into that feeling again. I don't know if we decided to go back to Kubrick, but it happened. Now we come to Nocturne, a piece that I wrote for the trio, I think sometime in 2012. Another one of the pieces that I suggested to Sco to play, apart from his songs. And he said that he would like to try this song. He likes the changes. And leading up to the concert, we decided that me and Sco would play an intro on this one, but we would go... we wouldn't decide what we do with the intro. So it was a bit unclear, but also we both liked that. So we actually just played free for a couple of minutes, I think. But there's moments where you could say we're in the tune, but then again we're not. And I think for me it was an incredible experience, because he plays so melodically in such a way that you could interpret his melodies that make sense in themselves, on their own, in different ways. And also he has incredible ears. So whatever I would throw at him harmonically, he would do something beautiful with it. Or help me out if I did something that, destroyed a vibe or something. He would just play something that made the next moment come to life. So now I heard a G from him, which is the dominant of the song, which led me to play the first chord. And now I'm kind of in the changes, I think. But I'm not sure if he is. Yeah, we're kind of in the tune already, I think. Or maybe we're not. I think we're somewhere else already. I kind of like that ambiguity. It could be a tune, could also not be. Doesn't have to be anything. Okay, there I'm stating the tempo. And the first chord. Plus embellishing chords. A little ear training game, which I also heard, Miles and Kenny Garrett do, playing different pitches for each other. Now I'm playing the melody and Sco is joining. As I said before, like nobody interprets a melody like that, like Sco. He completely makes it his own, and it sounds like his tune, which I love. can hear myself trying to adapt to Sco's strong sense of melody. And in retrospect, I've learned so much from him of, how to play a melody or how to invent a melody in the moment to make it really stick out. And I'm still working on that, but I think, to hear this up close, also maybe over changes and harmonies that you know very well, makes such a difference. You see him maneuver and navigate through changes that you're playing in the moment with him, and then you see which choices he makes that had a profound effect on me. Also, he takes pauses, and that's a big topic for me because I need to do that more. I need to work on that, and I think also I can hear myself taking more pauses. And more than usual than I would do, I think, when I look back or listen back to other recordings of other concerts from that time. And that's a sign of a great musician, talking about Sco, obviously, that he makes everybody around him so much better just by being there or reacting to the music. I love how Robert plays on this. Really taps into his lyrical side. And obviously tunes like this you could play for hours in the Philharmonic Hall because, the reverb that the room itself has is just wonderful and obviously lends itself very, very well to quieter pieces. Although I also like it, in the more energetic pieces. You really hear the snare until the, just until the back of the end of the room and coming back at you, which is a nice feeling. Check out how Sco flies over those changes. Deeply ingrained with that incredible swing feel. was a teenager, I used to play along with Sco records. And I told Sco when the first time we played together on the Rehearsal, it felt like I had played with him forever, which I actually did. But he never reacted to me because it was only on the record. But, you know, it's that feeling that I think I told him also in our interview that we did a couple of years after that. It's that feeling of seeing somebody on television for a long time. And that creates the illusion that you know this person, although it's just a one-sided thing. But it felt very natural to come for him, you know, to be with him in the music. And I think that's partly due to me, you know, playing along to his records for a long time, listening to them over and over again. Again, I could listen for hours to Sco's outros. I always find something special in them. Imaginary Time, another great Sco composition from What We Do, beautiful record. I remember Sco telling me to lay out for the first A section, or the second A section as well. I think I jump in now pretty soon somewhere. I'm looking at the sheet music right now. Hello. There's no harmony written down there, only a melody and a bass line. Now we have some chord changes. Again, that section. Yeah, so I kind of harmonized this section on the fly. Go compositions sometimes, these, especially this tune, you know, it sounds so great already if you just play the melody and the bass notes. And another song that has a beautiful and also catchy and, you know, memorable melody and you know, theme, but we already went into some free thing here, so we don't play on changes or whatever for that song. But I think, yeah, we kind of try to make it sound like we're playing changes. Again, playing with the thematic material of the song. That always gives me inspiration, you know, if I go back to the material of the song. Yeah, and we didn't rehearse this, but now we're actually going through the changes. Because what we decided upon was, yeah, we just play free after the melody. Robert leads me into the changes and I try to follow him. It's all very loose, but then again, yeah, I think now we're taking it out a little bit more. Yeah. Sco takes over after a short remembrance from the theme. I also like how Jonas is playing the time, stating the time, but now Robert, Sco and me doing something loose over it. If you listen to Jonas's hi-hat, you can still hear the time. Again, making harmonies up on the fly. Robert is following me. In a way, we're all following each other. I think I'm playing shapes that can work with, in this moment, can work with different other bass notes. Sco telling me at one point, I don't know if this happened in the tour later or already in the first rehearsal, that sometimes he'd like to, in the free situations, also to have a little bit more time with the trio without me, playing chords behind him or something. Because he knows this feeling, because, obviously from playing with Steve Swallow and Bill Stewart, or Steve Swallow and Adam Nussbaum. Now he's on his own. Only him and Jonas' snare. Now he's alone. And he does what he does on the outros. Except this time it's in the middle of the song. I used to ask him about his outros, how he thinks about them. And he just said, yeah, it's part of my shtick. So he brings us in. That wasn't planned. But we were waiting for something like this, play us something from the melody so we can get back in. So now we're back in the melody. So amazing for me to actually see his handwriting. We exchanged tunes in the months before his this performance. So he sent me stuff and I sent him stuff. And it was so great to see his handwriting because it's lovely, it's just beautiful. Last song of the performance of the set, and then we played an encore. So now you're listening to the encore of this concert. Sco has just finished a very nice announcement where he talked about, how this project came to be and what his feelings were about the evening. And then he told a story about, because I suggested this Joni Mitchell song, which is one of my favorites of hers. And I had just recorded this for my record Elders. And sent him this recording, suggested this song, and then in this announcement that he made right before this song, he told the audience when he first heard this song in '68 or something, in a dorm room full of pot-smoking people who were all, listening, hanging out and listening to Joni Mitchell. The song is called Marcy. And this is another breathtaking example of Sco's ability to, as I said before, take a melody and make it his own. Like he's singing it in a way. And he never really just plays the melody. He always adds little nuances. Yeah, like there. Who would think of that except him? It comes to life, because it's not like a robot. It has all the different shadings and different aspects that a human voice also has. And that's what we all try to come closer to. And not having it sound like an instrument, but having it sound like a human voice. And I love his balance between playing the the actual content of the melody, but also then interweaving it with, improvisational material already. Also the fact that he usually just plays, for the majority when he of the time where he interprets a melody, he usually plays single note melodies. So he doesn't really do a lot of reharmonization under it, which is nice for me. And gets back to that horn aspect that he told us in the rehearsal. It's nice for me because then I can do something under it. And now we switch roles in a way. He plays something more chordal underneath it, and I just hinted a little bit of the melody. And there's actually a little edit, because in the concert, we didn't plan this, but we went into another song of his. I think it's called Rolf and the Gang, from my favorite record of his called Quiet. And it's in the same key as where Marcy ends. So we went into that song, but it was too long for the record, so we took out Rolf and the Gang, and I think we even put the last fermata of Rolf and the Gang at the end of Marcy, so there's the illusion of Marcy standing on its own, but we actually went somewhere else, which is also what happened after this. So after this, we played another concert at WDR Jazz Fest in Dortmund. And then Sco took us on the road in 2015 for 2 weeks through Europe, which was an incredible experience. And we really developed the music further there, added some other tunes, and went to a lot of great places. And, one of the highlights of my life, really. And after that, we played one more concert in 2017, another festival. And we stayed in touch after that. I did an interview with him, and we keep in touch regularly. And now I'm on the team of a new documentary that's in the works called Inside Scofield, which I'm really happy to be part of as a co-producer. So that's something to look forward to, I guess, in the future. And thanks for listening to this. So it was a pleasure to revisit these wonderful memories of playing with my hero, Sco.